Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to North Coast Coffee Chats. I am Lone Coach Kelly.
And I'm David West, your solar best.
And we bring to you this North Coast Coffee Chats as a part of NCNG, North Coast Networking Group. We are a small entrepreneur-based business networking group. And the goal of North Coast Coffee Chats is to grab members of the group, bring them into this podcast hosted by Max Lux Media, and get to know them better, get to know more about their business, get to know how we can help them grow their business and how we can become successful referral partners within NCNG. That's what we're all about, trying to generate referrals, grow relationships, and grow each other's business. So today we have one of our members here, Jonathan Roth of Coomber Consulting. Jonathan, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Kelly,
glad
David.
to be on the podcast with you. Had an opportunity to get to know a little bit more about you about a month or so ago when we had our one-on-one. Got to hear a little bit about your background and kind of what brought you into where you are today. But let's go down that path first before we get into Coomber Consulting and get to know about what your business is. Tell us what got you to this part of your life. Like, what got you into this consultative goal and role in your position that you take on today?
Well, my background is varied, but basically it's been sales and marketing in the beverage alcohol space. I spent 34 years in that industry. When I finished school, I went to work for Procter & Gamble, and that's where I got my training in sales and learned all these great persuasive selling formats. And then I got recruited by the Gallo Wine Company. I didn't know anything about wine, but I knew that if I had a date, I was going to pick up a bottle of Gallo Blush Chablis, and it usually did the trick. And I learned a lot about wine from there.
Nice.
And I just got a passion for wine. I was born with this amazing sense of smell. I didn't realize it at the time, but when I got into the wine business, I just loved it, and I learned so much about it so quickly, and it became a passion of mine. And then I got promoted into management, and I moved all over the country. I started in Florida. I moved to Minnesota in the middle of winter. Just called my friends on the phone. I'm like, you can't even fathom how cold it is here. Like, if you have any moisture in your nose when you walk outside, it turns to ice. And then they moved me from there to North Carolina, where I was the sales manager for that market. I met my wife there. We moved to Maryland and lived in Maryland for several years, started to raise our kids there, and found that it wasn't the best place to raise kids. And when my kids were really young, we moved out to Arizona and lived 12 years there, and I started my own wine and spirits brokerage and built the largest wine and spirits brokerage in the Southwest. From there, I ended up working for the largest wholesaler in America, Southern Wine and Spirits. Then I moved up through the ranks in there, and I got an opportunity to move to where my wife is from, Knoxville, Tennessee.
All right.
Moved my family across country, and I was general manager of a wholesaler in that market. Loved it there, but it didn't really work out. And then 16 years ago, I went to work for another company called Terlato, which is the leading luxury wine company, and they moved me to San Diego, and it's been unbelievable here. The best place I've ever lived, and I've lived in a lot of places.
Yeah.
I worked for that company for several years, and then worked for a startup company, and then for the last 6 years, I had a startup in the spirit space, and we developed a bourbon brand called Broken Barrel Bourbon, and separated from them in the summer of last year. And that's how I hooked up with my old pal, Skip Coomber, and got involved with Coomber Consulting, and a real change in career.
Awesome.
Did that happen because he owns a winery, or not a winery, but like a vineyard?
Well, that's how we became friends. He had a brand called Skater Girl, which is a really cool product. It had a dog on a skateboard. I mean, you can't beat a dog on a skateboard, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is an amazing brand, and we became friends, and I helped him market that brand, actually got him in Publix in the state of Florida, in 800 stores, and other markets around the country. And it did really well, and we developed a friendship for over 16 years. And when I separated from Broken Barrel, I was trying to figure out what am I going to do? What's my next step? And Skip came to me, he's like, hey, I started this consulting business and it's really taken off, and we could use someone with your sales expertise to get involved with us. and he offered me an opportunity to work with him. And we started with employee retention tax credit. And we've helped over 450 businesses in just 2 years as a company get millions of dollars in tax credits. And it's really been rewarding because we've helped so many nonprofits.
Nice.
And that's been the most rewarding part. But for me, I've spent my career on the road. So I've lived in this community for the last 16 years. But never really was part of the community. My wife would plan our weekends, but Monday I'm at the airport and I'd be gone all week. I'd come back Friday, spend the weekends, and then Monday it would start all over again. I'd travel to some part of the country. So the last 9 months, 10 months that I've been doing this has been amazing because I've really gotten to become part of the community, the business leaders, and joining North Coast Networking Group has been phenomenal because I've gotten to meet such great leaders in their respective businesses and get to know them and get to be able to refer them business. It's been really rewarding.
That's great. So now that you're with Coomber Consulting, the overall focus is what programs, whether it's government or tax programs that are available to businesses that you guys can help with. That's kind of like the goal. But give us a quick line item, like what do you offer, and then really what's the main focus now for most businesses that you work with?
So there are over 1,100 government programs designed for businesses to basically change their behavior. Some of them have unintended consequences, like, for instance, there is a rule if you have your own business that if you have a car that weighs over 55,000 pounds, you get a 100% tax credit. Now, that wasn't designed for people to go out and buy large vehicles, but the law exists. So people, that there's the number one selling Bentley that weighs that much. So there are business owners that buy Bentleys and get a 100% write-off because of this law. That was the unintended consequences. That's why big guys or big business people don't pay any taxes because they know how to utilize those laws. So what Coomber Consulting is doing now is we're focused on finding these opportunities for businesses to bring them to them because your average business person doesn't have the time to investigate all these cool programs that they can take advantage of. We started with employee retention tax credit, but most recently, 2 other programs. One of them is called Research and Development Tax Credit, which is a really cool program that the government is encouraging businesses to do their R&D here rather than overseas. So there are tremendous tax credits available for businesses that create and do research and development. And it doesn't have to be new to the world. It just has to be new to them. So for instance...
So they could take something that's from another country and just make it here?
No, not necessarily. Like the example is meaning a research and development idea, like the people that we're working with in this program, they got a yogurt company money because of a new flavor of yogurt that was new to them but wasn't new to the world. So there's so many ways to get this research and development tax credit money, but it wasn't available to small businesses until 2016. So it's relatively a new program that a lot of small businesses just aren't aware that they can apply for these tax credits.
Sure.
So awesome. That's our expertise. And then the one that I'm most excited about is this new health and wellness program that we partnered with a company called Champ. And this is a program that offers as a supplemental healthcare program in not to replace, but make better their major medical program. So what it does is it uses the Section 125, and that allows you to take pre-tax money and credits. So literally lowering the taxable income of the employees. And this program gives all of your employees a raise of somewhere between $125 and $200 a month. And the employer gets a tremendous benefit of $573.60 per employee per year. that they save on FICA, the 7.65% that they have to pay regardless. So this lowers the taxable income, saves the business money, but here's the best part. The best part is the employee gets a program that allows them to go to any doctor, primary care at zero cost, allows them to go to any urgent care at zero cost, gives about the top 200 prescriptions for $1 or $0, allows them veterinary care, virtual veterinary care at zero cost. And it's just a tremendous program that is designed to keep your employees healthier. So the government allows companies to do this because they want people to be healthy now rather than when they get onto Medicare. And the best part about the program is it works with an app. And every time you use the app, it triggers an insurance code that keeps you in compliance for getting this tax credit on your paycheck every month. That's offset.
Wow. So, and this is not, of course, territorially. This is globally, right? This
in the United States,
in the U.S.,
in
right?
the U.S.
So, OneTrust Home Loans has probably 300 employees across the country, and we're all W-2 employees, and our company offers medical benefits to everybody who's a full-time employee. So we could potentially, as a company, save $573 per month for all 300 of those employees.
That's correct.
If we implemented a program like this into our benefits package.
That's correct. Which you take 573 times 300 employees. That's a
pretty
big
sizable number.
It's around $180,000. Quick math in my head. That they would save, and the program again keeps their employees healthier because this app. Once you get the app, you download all your information, and so it'll have your name, your wife's name, your dog's name on the app or if it's a cat, you got to have the dog and the cat taken care of. So they're part of the plan. And every month, the app is saying, hey, watch this video. For me, it's heart disease. That's what runs in my family. So every month I have to watch a video about cholesterol or some other heart issue if I'm not using the app to go to the doctor. If I don't use it for a prescription that month, then I got to watch a video. That keeps me in compliance.
Okay. So, this could be very powerful. What kind of businesses are you searching for to consult with? Like, is there a business that's too small? Is there a business that's too big? Is there who's your audience? Who are you looking to talk to?
Well, we like small businesses and we love nonprofits because it's just so rewarding to help nonprofits. But for the Champ Plan, it just has to be a minimum of 10 employees, and then we can do this program for you. We get a census from the employer of all their employees, where they live, all their certain tax situation. So as long as an employee doesn't have like 10 kids, they're going to benefit from this program, and they'll literally see a pay increase. Because what it does is on your paycheck, you get a $1,200 tax credit, which is offset by $1,010. One is pre-tax, the other is post-tax. So net, it's a difference of $190. But again, lowering your taxable income because the $1,200 comes off just like your federal tax and your so it's all pre-tax money.
Got it.
So again, lowers your taxable income. So you save money net because you're not being taxed as much. And you get a huge benefit of hopefully being a healthier person. When you get the app, it asks you several questions. Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to stop smoking? Whatever it is you want to do, and it targets you for those things that you're trying to do in your life to be healthier.
Sorry, we're trying to make people healthier?
Yeah.
What? Hold on, this is America. I'm kidding.
Well, we do live in California.
No, that's amazing. So who usually makes the decision on that in a business? Is that, from your experience, is it the HR person or is it the owner of the company?
That's a great question, David. I would say most of the times we want to get an audience with the C-level person. So obviously the CFO, the CEO, and then they end up sending it down to their head of HR, And they're like, okay, look into this, I'm interested, and then we have to fight that battle. But usually if the C-level person signs off on the idea, that they like the idea, they want to make their employees healthier, they want to be able to offer a great program to them, then that's the first line of defense. You got gatekeepers in all businesses, right? You got to deal with the gatekeepers.
Yeah.
So, but the C-level person, the owner, obviously is the person we'd love to get to. And most people are very receptive to this idea. Bottom line is, most people, when we present this program, they go, what's the catch? This sounds too good to be true, which is amazing, because then I'm like, no, this is true. This really, not only that Champ, the people that we partner with, they've been in business for 10 years. So this isn't a new program, and utilizing Section 125 isn't new. It was created with Obamacare. What's new is the app. The app makes the program really work. And I want to tell one quick story. The people that we met with from Champ, the founder of the company, so he had a personal issue. His wife passed. And he was just distraught, obviously, as we all would be, but wondered what he could have done differently to affect her behavior. Gone to the doctor more, maybe he would have caught the cancer sooner, right? And we all think of that, we're playing Monday morning quarterback.
Sure.
You look in the past like, oh, what could I have done differently? But at the end of the day, things happen to good people. And at the same time, after his wife passed, his daughter turned 16. And he got the Allstate insurance with the little thing in your car. And he was amazed that this unit in the car changed his daughter's behavior and the way she drives. And he said, well, how can we use that with insurance, right? How can we use technology to change people's behavior? And that's what the Champ program does.
I think that's awesome. It's interesting that you now have this very tech part of your industry, and especially with Champ. And I see it so often now. I mean, everybody's got like the smartwatch, the Fitbit, or
Yep.
yeah, and then the Garmin, and then they're using Strava. It's the new social media, whatever. AI, all of this being incorporated. Where do you see? I mean, sure, you've got like other government programs, but this healthcare one is so important because it's really helping people become healthier. I mean, that's the number one thing. So
Save money and be healthy.
I mean, what's not to
Yeah,
love?
well, listen, there's always going to be this element of somebody who looks at it and says, it's Big Brother watching me. I don't want Big Brother watching me. He's going to know everything I do. But you know what? You're carrying around Big Brother in your pocket. Everybody's doing it. Yeah. They all know where we are. They all know our shopping habits. And by the way, just because we talked about it today, you're probably going to get an ad on your phone later on today about some of the things that we discussed.
Oh,
so
I'm sure.
It's already there. You either opted in or you haven't.
That was kind of my question. Like, I mean, do you feel like it's too much involvement with government and, business, and then now personal health? And then where do you see that the future of that coming in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think it's a good thing. I think in general, Americans, and again, not California, but the rest of the world, when you go middle America, my wife's family's from Ohio, we go there all the time. And when there's a lot of funnel cakes being eaten in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
It's just, the people don't go to the beach as much. They get the midwinter bellies, and I mean, there's just a lot of overweight. Overweight and obesity is a problem. That's why Ozempic has become the number one most popular drug. People want to get healthy. There's no doubt about that. So I think overall, getting America healthier, we're living longer. My family actually has a home care business in Arizona. We take care of people, and we do it with a passion. And that aging population, I mean, the stats on the population, your generation, David, is going to have to take care of my generation, because we're the huge generation, and I'm on the tail end of the baby boomers. But you've got this younger generation, and America is aging, and aging fast.
Yeah.
So we need to get the point of really what it is. It's medicine 3.0. If you look at it, medicine 1.0 was back in the dark ages where they created the medical instruments. But medicine 2.0 is where we're in now. Medicine 2.0 is you've got a problem or you've got a symptom. Let's treat the symptom.
Yeah.
But medicine 3.0, that's what we're shooting for. That is getting the problem before it's a problem. And that's what I think this program does, is Medicine 3.0.
That's awesome. I love
Nice.
that takeaway.
So when we first met, and you started working with Skip at Coomber Consulting, which we've had on the podcast, and he was an unbelievable interview. Talking with Skip for 40 minutes was like talking to him for like 7 hours. Like, it was freaking powerful.
Yeah, that's good.
And so we understand who your partner is and how you got into this business. And when we talked to Skip, it was very focused around the ERTC, which was a very, very big, very, very hugely helpful tax credit for business owners. And as he talked about, and you and I have talked about, those tax credits begin to expire. And so it seemed as though that was maybe a short-lived business strategy, but as a consulting firm, you're finding there's so many other ways that you can create value for companies. And Champ just happens to be one of the hot topics right now. What's the competition to Champ? Like, who are you competing with to offer that solution to businesses today?
There are other products out there that use Section 125 as supplemental insurance plans, and it's important that you understand that this plan is employee sponsored but employee funded. Okay, so that program, that idea, there are other companies out there that are offering it, but still so many businesses don't know about it. And I do want to mention that the ERTC is still around. It goes until April of 2025.
Okay.
It's just not quite as lucrative, but it's still $21,000 opportunity. It's 3 periods, 3 quarters of 2021 that businesses can get tax credits for, up to $21,000 per employee. For those 3 quarters. So it's $7,000 per employee for the first, second, and third quarter. That's how you get the $21,000.
Got it.
And there are still ways for business. We're still processing ERTCs, just that a lot of businesses got into it. And, it's funny because, and I hate to bring up Toy, but Toy, when I first met Toy, he's in a reverse mortgage, and ERTC kind of got this reverse mortgage thing, but until you actually understand it, people are like, oh no, I don't want to talk about reverse mortgage, and I don't want to talk about ERTC. I've gotten spammed, and so I'm like, well, we don't spam, and we don't cold call. We only work with warm leads of people who want to work with lawyers, because we partner with lawyers, a law firm, where most of the companies that were doing it were CPAs. And the big difference is the CPA and the lawyer, and Skip kind of went into this, is the CPA is a numbers person. And there's a subjective piece to ERC that you have to explain that, how a business was affected by the government shutdown. And that's what a tax lawyer does. So that's why we partnered with tax lawyers to do that program. And that's why we've partnered with a company like Champ for our healthcare supplemental program, because these guys have been doing it for 10 years. They know what they're doing. There are new companies that are popping up now that are trying to take advantage of this. In America, anytime you have something that works, there's always going to be competition. People are going to jump in.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that they're an expert in what they do.
Right.
We try to focus and partner with experts so that they really understand, and that they bring a solid product to the businesses that we represent. Because of ERC, we have worked with over 1,200 businesses. We didn't necessarily sign them all up, but we've interacted. We have all the data. We have a tremendous resource of businesses and C-level owners and managers that we can reach out to with these programs.
It's cool. You've kind of you went from being a broker for wine and spirits, and now you're more of a broker for which tax credits or firms or programs are available to businesses, and partnering with the right organizations to broker that opportunity.
Broker's an interesting word as well. It's not necessarily very positive.
I think
I recently got my insurance license, because this product that we sell, you can't sell unless you're licensed to sell insurance. So I got licensed to sell health and accident and life insurance Took the exam, passed it. First exam I've taken in over 30 years, and I passed it. It was really awesome.
Wow, that's great.
It was, let me tell you something, I forgot almost how to study for tests, but it was interesting, but a great learning process. I mean, here I am, on the south side of 60, having to study for an exam, so that was definitely mind-blowing.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about Jonathan. I mean, I think the business is fascinating. I love what you're doing and how you've grown just over the last 9 months into it and explored new opportunities. But where does Jonathan's life come in now that he's in San Diego? He's enjoying it.
Yeah.
What do you do for fun? What are your hobbies? And what do you care most about outside of work?
First of all, I'm married for 31 years, be 32 years this year.
Congrats.
I have 3 amazing children. I mean, they are incredible citizens. My oldest son recently moved to Arizona. He used to work for Blue Shield of California. Now he's actually working in my family's business in healthcare and home care. And then I have a son who's 28 years old who's a software engineer in San Francisco. And then I have my daughter who recently graduated college, and she has moved back to San Diego and is going to be working in healthcare because she wants to be a physician's assistant. So she's applying to PA schools now and looking at what she's going to do in the future. So my wife and I, we love to play tennis. We're members of San Diego Tennis Club right here in, I guess it's technically Cardiff area, and we play a lot of tennis. I like to play golf, but 5 hours is way too much time to commit, so I don't get to do it very often.
Oh, yeah.
But a tennis match, I can go in early, and I still can work, and I just love to, I love to be, I don't want to say regimented, but have a schedule of things to do, and then in my spare time, beside tennis and golf, and love to snow ski when we take trips. But I have a passion for spirits and wine that we touched on, and Skip and I, we play like poker twice a week. So would love to have you guys come out to our poker game.
Yeah.
We have a private club in Rancho Santa Fe where we play poker, we drink whiskey, we smoke cigars, we have a really good time, and it's a pretty good place.
And so, why haven't we been invited yet?
You're both invited now.
There we go.
Baby Bear loves poker.
Let's go. We love taking Baby Bear's money at poker, too.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, yeah.
Baby Bear's myself.
Oh, man. So, transition here into like the final segment of this. So, the transition of your world from obviously learning sales for Procter & Gamble, one of the biggest companies in the world, right? And then to Southern Wines and Spirits, huge company across the world. You've had this serious training and background in sales, and now you're not really selling as much, but you're still selling because you're selling a concept that people just don't know about. So there's some sales tactic to it. But what makes you tick as a salesperson? Like you've learned all these tactics, and you've been in all these businesses where you've had to be forward-facing consumers. You've had to get people to believe in you. Like what makes that? You've got to have a passion for that, right?
Absolutely. You have to understand that. I got this amazing training at Procter & Gamble, and actually amazing training also at Gallo. Gallo was a great training field. They recruited Procter & Gamble people, but when I was at Procter & Gamble, I learned, the persuasive selling format, that everything was in the persuasive selling format. You got to realize at that time I was 22 years old when I was working for them. So I would use persuasive selling format when I met women at bars. I mean, everything is in the persuasive selling format. And when you learn those techniques, they become part of your life. You don't even realize that you're utilizing them when you're talking to people. But basically, the persuasive selling format is, you summarize the situation, you state your idea, you explain how it works, you reinforce the key benefits, and then you close. And there's a whole technique about learning all those processes that I just said in 2 quick seconds. But that experience of learning that developed in a passion of all things sales. I read every sales book, that you can possibly imagine, the 1-minute salesman, the 1-minute manager, the greatest salesman in the world. I had a passion for sales, but more importantly, Had I never gotten into sales, I probably would have been a teacher had it paid more, because I developed a passion for teaching sales, because most of my career was in sales management. So I learned the techniques, and I love teaching salespeople and watching them thrive. So that's my background. I'm not doing that per se today, but as Coomber Consulting grows, I anticipate that we'll be bringing on salespeople, and I'll be able to help them and learn about the proper way to go about selling these amazing products for businesses.
Awesome. It's being in the mortgage space for 24 years, I've always looked at myself not as a salesman. Yes, I'm a conduit to money, but I'm an educator. My goal is to educate you on how to utilize money to be a homeowner, how to utilize money to leverage your equity, how to utilize money to save you money, how to create wealth with money. So I've never really looked at my role as a mortgage lender as a salesperson. I've never looked at my role as a property manager as a salesperson. It's always just someone who can be forward facing to educate you enough to create value in your life. And Dave, as a solar rep, I'm sure you're dealing with a lot of that same concept. Yes, you're trying to sell them solar, but you're saving them money. The goal with solar isn't a sales tactic. The goal is create value, right?
Well, I will tell you that I was pitched by Baby Bear on solar, and we're still considering the process. It's obviously a big investment, but I will say that for a young guy in the industry, I mean, his knowledge about solar and how he sold it, the whole concept, without necessarily really pushing too hard, is something, because it's a long-term sale. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. The groundwork that you laid, with us, I mean, we're interested in doing it. It's just financially feasible, figuring out when we can make it happen. So I've got to sell a few more businesses on ERC, and then I'll hopefully be able to get that solar with Coda.
All right, so everybody, listen up. Let's go talk to Jonathan here.
That's right.
Speaking of
West, your solar best.
I appreciate that. But speaking of which, how can people find out more about you or reach out to you and Coomber Consulting and get in contact with you?
Yeah, Jonathan Roth, JR at coomberconsulting.com is my email. You can reach me at 602, still kept my Arizona area code, 615-9462. And our website's in the process of developing right now. We do have the R&D tax credit piece on it. We certainly have our original program, but it's coomberconsulting.com. That's going to be updated real soon with the champ plan. It's not quite up yet because we want to make sure it's right. And as you can imagine, to get a website looking its best doesn't happen overnight.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. Jonathan Roth, Coomber Consulting, Coomber, Coomber Consulting. If you're a small business, 10 employees and up, and you're interested in pursuing strategies to improve your employees' taxable income and improve your savings or your monetary value as a company, you ought to be looking at Jonathan and Coomber Consulting to talk about some of those solutions. We're going to wrap this up as you're all might or might not know if you're tuning in on the show. North Coast Coffee Chats, we are brought to you by NCNG, North Coast Networking Group, where we are a 30-person group of spirited entrepreneurs, and we get together every week on Thursdays. And fortunately, on the fourth Thursday of the month, we get together here with Max Lux Media, and we get to shoot a podcast. We get to know more about our members of NCNG and promote them and help them grow their business through great conversation like we had today with Jonathan. So, John, thanks for being a part of our show today. It was a great episode, and look forward to trying to hopefully get you connected with OneTrust and see if I can save me and my company some money with that champ plan.
And get healthier, Kelly.
And get healthier. Very good.
Get healthy.
All right. Well, cheers,
Thank
boys.
you. Cheers.
Here's a great rest of your week.
Cheers. Cheers.